Hello everyone, welcome back to Pure Holistic Harmony. In today's video, we're going to dive straight into the political landscape, a serene vista of unity and calm, right? Wrong. Today we're diving into Trump Derangement Syndrome, or TDS. Not in any medical journal, TDS is diagnosed by public opinion. It's an acute aversion to all things Trump. We're approaching this with humor and satire, poking fun at both sides because politics rarely stays sane. Whether you love or hate Trump, buckle up for a wild ride through TDS. How can you tell if you or someone you love might be suffering from TDS? It's about as subtle as a brick to the face, an uncontrollable urge to engage in heated political debates. The mere mention of the president's name can send a TDS sufferer into a tailspin. Another sign is an unhealthy obsession with cable news. Forget Netflix and chill, it's all CNN all the time, and an overflowing Amazon cart filled with impeached Trump merchandise. Seeing Trump lurking around every corner, like that creepy villain in a horror movie, he haunts their every waking thought. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, as it helps support the channel. Subscribe and press the notification bell icon for more health tips and information. Share your thoughts in the comments below and join our concierge club to receive priority perks. Now, the million-dollar question, or perhaps the $1.75 trillion question, is what exactly causes TDS? Well, the answer, my friends, is a bit like the Bermuda Triangle, shrouded in mystery and prone to wild theories. Others posit that it's a result of an acute allergic reaction to alternative facts and fake news, but perhaps the most plausible explanation is that TDS is caused by excessive Twitter use, political podcasts, and a severe deficiency of common sense. Add to that the constant barrage of breaking news alerts and social media echo chambers, and it's no wonder people are walking around like they just lost their best friend. Is it a cultural phenomenon that's both hilarious and a little bit terrifying? Absolutely. Spotting a TDS sufferer in their natural habitat isn't as difficult as you might think. They're often the loudest ones in the room, especially if that room happens to be a Twitter thread about the president. Masters of the virtual protest, they wield hashtags like weapons and unleash furious tirades. They turn even the most benign conversation into a full-blown political debate. Their fervor isn't limited to the digital realm. These passionate souls aren't afraid to let their freak flag fly in the real world, too. They gasp dramatically when someone mentions they voted for Trump. Public meltdowns are their specialty, whether it's over a Fox News segment or a red hat. From brunch outbursts to impeachment merch, you might be a TDS patient zero. Don't worry, you're not alone. This affliction has touched millions, from Hollywood celebrities to your eccentric aunt. But how can you be sure? We've compiled a handy checklist. Do you own more impeached Trump merchandise than actual clothing? Examine your social media habits. Do you spend hours debating strangers on Twitter? Have you unfriended family over political opinions? Is your feed a stream of angry rants and snarky memes? Take a long, hard look in the mirror. Consider your emotional state. Are you easily triggered by anything related to our great president? If so, there's still hope for you. It's not just the tweets, it's the deep state, soy milk, conspiracy, delusions, and paranoia. TDS sufferers often embrace wild conspiracy theories, seeing shadowy cabals and deep state operatives everywhere. Ask them about politics and you'll hear about the Illuminati, reptilian overlords, and George Soros. A power outage? Clearly a deep state plot. These theories offer a twisted comfort suggesting someone is in control. It's a cycle of confirmation bias where critical thinking dies and paranoia thrives. The Twitterverse where sanity goes to die and TDS is born. Let's be honest, folks, the internet can be a cesspool of negativity. But for the susceptible individual, Twitter is where TDS truly flourishes. It's a breeding ground for outrage, where 280 characters can launch 1,000 angry rants and send perfectly rational adults into a frenzy of keyboard warrior rage. Imagine, if you will, a digital coliseum where gladiators of snark battle it out for the coveted prize of most retweets. In this arena, facts are fluid, context is king, and nuance is about as welcome as a MAGA hat at a Bernie Sanders rally. Twitter, in all its chaotic glory, fuels the TDS fire by providing a constant stream of bite-sized outrage. It's the ultimate echo chamber where users surround themselves with like-minded individuals who reinforce their existing biases and validate their anger. dissent is met with swift and merciless attacks, often in the form of cleverly worded insults and snarky gifs. Civil discourse? Forget about it. This is the Wild West of political debate, where the loudest and most aggressive voices reign supreme. Is it any wonder that spending countless hours in this toxic environment might lead to a few, let's call them cognitive distortions? Twitter is the digital equivalent of mainlining espresso shots while watching a marathon of cable news. It's enough to make even the most Zen yogi want to chuck their phone into a volcano and retreat to a silent monastery on a remote mountaintop. From CNN to MSNBC, when news becomes an addiction, not an information source. Remember the good old days when news was something you caught for a half hour after dinner, delivered by a serious-looking person in a suit? Those days are long gone, my friends. We now live in the era of 24/7 news cycles, where every minor event is treated like a national crisis, and the line between fact and opinion is blurrier than ever. For the individual predisposed to TDS, cable news becomes less about staying informed and more about feeding an insatiable hunger for outrage. It's a potent cocktail of fear-mongering, confirmation bias, and good old-fashioned entertainment disguised as journalism. They flip between CNN and MSNBC like they're channel surfing for their next dopamine fix, each segment more anxiety-inducing than the last. The talking heads, with their perfectly coiffed hair and impeccably rehearsed outrage, become trusted sources of information, their opinions elevated to the status of gospel truth. And don't even get us started on the endless panel discussions where partisan pundits shout at each other about the latest political scandal, their voices reaching a fever pitch as they compete for airtime and viewers' attention spans. It's enough to make you long for the days of Walter Cronkite, when news was delivered with a calm, measured tone and a healthy dose of objectivity. But alas, in this age of hyper-partisanship and clickbait headlines, objectivity is about as rare as a bipartisan agreement in Congress. The Soylent Green factor unmasking the hidden culprits fueling TDS. Now, we're not saying that a steady diet of kale smoothies and tofu scramble is enough to give you TDS, but we're not saying it either. The truth is, the causes of this modern-day malady are as varied and perplexing as the symptoms themselves. Some experts, and by experts we mean that guy who wears a tinfoil hat to Starbucks and rambles on about chemtrails, believe that TDS is a side effect of excessive gluten consumption or perhaps a deficiency of essential oils. Others posit that it's caused by prolonged exposure to NPR podcasts or an unhealthy obsession with yoga retreats. Could it be the fluoride in the water, the subliminal messages in pop music, or perhaps just maybe it's the result of living in a society where everything is politicized, from the coffee you drink to the shoes you wear? We may never know for sure what lies at the root of this strange and often hilarious phenomenon, but one thing's for certain: TDS is a potent reminder that we live in a world where outrage is a commodity, information is weaponized, and the line between satire and reality is thinner than ever. Silence the noise. Find your inner chimp. That little rectangular device is sucking the sanity right out of you. Break free from the shackles of your Twitter feed. A little digital detox can go a long way. Start by setting some boundaries. Remember those things called hobbies? Pick up a book, learn a new language, take up knitting. Breaking free from the digital echo chamber will do wonders for your mental health. Joe Rogan to the rescue, drowning out the outrage with DMT and elk meat. Resist the siren song of Twitter. Congratulations, you've taken the first step. The silence is deafening, isn't it? Fear not, we have just the thing. Joe Rogan's voice, that advocate for DMT and elk meat, might be the key to your inner zen. His podcast is a digital safe space. Put on a Joe Rogan podcast and let his soothing voice wash over you. Embrace the hat, conquer your fears. MAGA hat exposure therapy. Confront your political fears by touching, seeing, and maybe even wearing it. This isn't about abandoning your beliefs, it's about desensitizing yourself to the triggers. Start small. Look at a picture online. Watch a video without throwing your laptop. Venture out and exist near a MAGA hat wearer. Observe, breathe, and repeat. It's just a hat. Reclaim your power. Constitution and kale smoothies. A balanced diet for a balanced mind. They say you are what you eat, and when it comes to TDS, that couldn't be truer. If your diet consists primarily of outrage-inducing news articles, inflammatory social media posts, and the bitter aftertaste of political arguments, then it's no wonder your insides are churning like a washing machine on spin cycle. It's time to cleanse your palate, my friend. And we're not talking about a juice cleanse, although, hey, if that's your thing, go for it. We're talking about a mental detox, a way to flush out the toxins of political polarization and replace them with a healthy dose of reason, perspective, and maybe even a little bit of hope. Start by incorporating some nutrient-rich content into your media diet. Instead of obsessively refreshing Twitter for the latest outrage bait, try reading a book, watching a documentary, or listening to a podcast that challenges your worldview. Remember, a balanced media diet, like a balanced breakfast, is essential for a healthy mind. And speaking of breakfast, let's not forget the importance of nourishing your body as well. We're not suggesting you become a kale smoothie drinking, yoga pant wearing stereotype, although again, no judgment if that's your jam. But incorporating some healthy habits into your routine can work wonders for your mental state. Exercise, get enough sleep, spend time in nature. All these things can help reduce stress, improve your mood, and make you less likely to fly off the handle at the slightest provocation. Hug a libertarian, if you dare, finding common ground in the land of freedom. What if, instead of retreating to our ideological corners, we engaged with those who hold different views? Libertarians believe in limited government and personal freedom. They're fiscally conservative and socially liberal. Spending time with libertarians can help you see the world through a different lens. They'll challenge your assumptions and help you find common ground. Plus, they throw killer parties with craft beer and philosophical debates. They saw the light and ditched their impeach Trump bumper stickers. Don't just take our word for it, folks. Real Americans from sea to shining sea are ditching the outrage and embracing sanity thanks to our revolutionary all-natural TDS remedies. Here are just a few of their heartwarming stories of recovery.
Meet Brenda from Berkeley. Once a card-carrying member of the resistance, I spent my days crafting angry tweets, boycotting Chick-fil-A, and perfecting my death glare for anyone who dared to utter the phrase, "Make America Great Again." I was trapped in a cycle of outrage. My therapist suggested I try meditation, but even Deepak Chopra couldn't drown out the sound of Trump's voice in my head. Enter Joe Rogan. I started listening to his podcast during my morning commute. At first I was skeptical, but there was something about Joe's calming voice, his willingness to explore all sides of an issue, that slowly chipped away at my anger.
Today, Brenda is a changed woman. She traded in her "Nevertheless, She Persisted" poster for a framed photo of Joe Rogan holding a chimpanzee. She even started a conversation with a Trump supporter at her local farmer's market.
We didn't agree on everything, but we both agreed that kale is overrated.
From outrage addicts to Zen masters, real people, real recovery. Chad from Chattanooga, a self-proclaimed news junkie, spent his waking hours glued to CNN, his heart rate spiking with every breaking news alert.
I thought I was staying informed, but really I was just mainlining anxiety. My turning point came during a family vacation to Yosemite. A park ranger said, "Son, you need to get outside more."
Surrounded by nature, Chad realized how small his political anger was. He vowed to unplug and reconnect with family, friends, and the great outdoors. The world will still be there when you get back, and it might seem brighter. Now, before we get too comfortable pointing fingers and laughing at the TDS afflicted, let's take a long, hard look in the mirror, shall we? Because let's be honest, folks, the other side of the political aisle isn't exactly immune to its own brand of irrationality. They may not have coined the term TDS, but trust me, they've got their own versions, each more potent and equally hilarious than the last. Remember those Hunter Biden's laptop whispers that circulated with the fervor of a game of telephone at a Trump rally? Yeah, that's one of them. It's like the MAGA version of a Scooby-Doo villain, always lurking in the shadows, always about to be unmasked, yet never quite revealing its true nature, or lack thereof. And what about those "Let's Go Brandon" chants that echoed through stadiums and NASCAR races? Talk about a not-so-subtle subtweet heard round the world. It's like they took the concept of passive aggression, cranked it up to 11, and set it to the tune of a stadium anthem. Subtlety, who needs it when you can just chant a coded message that only the in-group understands? The point is, my friends, political obsession isn't a partisan issue, it's an American pastime. We're all guilty of letting our political beliefs consume us, of turning our favorite news channels into echo chambers, and of using social media as a weapon to silence dissenting voices. We're all stuck in this pressure cooker of a political landscape together, like a dysfunctional family on a road trip, each convinced we've got the best route. But what if we tried to find common ground? What if we actually listened to the other side? Maybe we're not all that different after all. Next time you feel political outrage, take a deep breath. Life is too short to spend it glued to cable news. So, what have we learned on our whirlwind tour of Trump derangement syndrome, besides the fact that political humor is a delicate dance on a razor's edge? Well, for starters, we've discovered that TDS, while not an officially recognized medical condition yet, is a real phenomenon with very real symptoms. Whether you call it outrage addiction, news overload, or just plain old political obsession, it's clear that something's amiss when the mere mention of the president sends otherwise rational adults into a spiral of fury, conspiracy theories, and frantic Twitter rants. But here's the good news. While the symptoms of TDS might be contagious, the cure is within reach. It starts with taking a step back from the digital echo chamber, from the 24/7 news cycle, from the constant barrage of outrage that seems to define our modern political landscape. Turn off the TV, silence your notifications, and step outside for a breath of fresh air. Remember, there's a whole world out there beyond the political battlefield, a world filled with beauty, wonder, and yes, even joy. Now, we're not naive enough to believe that we can single-handedly usher in an era of political peace and harmony, but we can at least try to be a little less, well, deranged. We can start by having conversations instead of shouting matches, and by remembering that even our political opponents are human beings deserving of respect. We all want what's best for our country, even if we disagree on how to get there. So, go forth, my friends, and be the change you want to see in the world. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, as it helps support the channel. Subscribe and press the notification bell icon for more health tips and information. Share your thoughts in the comments below and join our concierge club to receive priority perks. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for the next video. See you soon. Goodbye.